Hello and good morning. Welcome to another Energetic Arts training session. If you're here, just send me a little chat. Let me know that you're here and that the sound is working before I start going off. So today's subject is relaxing into expanded awareness. Now, I wanted to do this topic because I think learning the skill of relaxation is really important, especially when we're tapping into different frequencies that are outside of our current range of acceptance. To really embody these new frequencies, I find it important to first of all have a clear mind, because if you're approaching these new frequencies from an old mindset, a lot of stuff's going to come up for you. It's going to stir up your energy and disturb you. And I don't mean that in a horrific sense, but it's gonna throw you out of balance a little bit. And so, yeah, guys, just chime in with the chat feed. Just let me know that the sound's good and that you're on board and everybody's ready to go. And so when we're in meditation, especially if we're doing, like, say, an hour long or longer, sometimes we can go in for several hours of meditation. It's not always easy to stay in that relaxed state the whole time. You're going to be slipping in and out of different states. Your brain's going to be switching into different frequencies. As new energy moves through the body, it's going to stir up and old energy is going to bubble up to the surface. It's going to trigger you in all sorts of ways. And it's important to have some kind of skills available where you can move back in to that relaxed state. And, sometimes you may have to do that repetitively. And some meditations, when people say I didn't have a very good meditation, I had a bad meditation, it's usually because they're not able to find that still, relaxed state. And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit of a story here, just so we can approach this a little bit better. And so think for a moment of a guided missile, or the same principle, or a tightrope walker on a tightrope. Both are moving from one point in time and space to another point of time and space, and they're holding the focus or holding the target in mind. As they move towards the target, they're never actually always in balance or on target. Okay, they're always slipping in and out of balance, and the missile is never actually on target until the very last moment. And so what we're doing is, through relaxation, is we're tuning our focus in to that relaxed state continuously, over and over and over, repetitively. And one of the main triggers to do that is to use the breath as a guide. Now, we've all heard this, focus on the breath, focus on the breath. But what happens when your breathing isn't helping you relax? Well, I'm going to be doing a training session on breathing, breath work, and breath gearing I'm going to do two, one on a breath that's going to help you move your energy up and out of your body, and go into some of the techniques that I use to be able to achieve that. And the other one is on breath gearing and how to set yourself up, pre-breathe, breathe ups and recovery breaths and things like that, and breath signatures. So, so what we're going to do today is we're just going to start to um, go into a meditation without any aim other than to focus on refocusing the mind whenever we fall out of relaxation. So the goal isn't to be in that relaxed state, because when you're there you'll just slip into it, it'll be easy. But when you the goal is to be able to tune yourself back in. Okay, so you're not just sitting there waiting for the music to end or the clock to run out. Okay, so don't get down on yourself if you can't get into a relaxed place. Remember, this is just training, and we're here to develop the skill. So it's a bit like, I mentioned this before, this character, Burt Munro, who rode the fastest Indian, and he had that world record on the motorcycle on the salt flats year after year. Now, him, like a freediver, like Usain Bolt, in the 100 meters, these events, they're only several minutes long or several seconds long, but to get up to that level of intensity, to get up to that speed, that frequency, that excellence level, it takes years and years of training this in. Okay, I think I saw a meme on Facebook the other day about Usain Bolt. It says, for that 9-10 seconds world record, he trained like 20 years. He trained his body and his mind to be able to do that. And with Burt Munro, the fastest Indian, I think it was about the same, 20 years of re-engineering that bike until he was able to squeeze that speed out of it. And with the world champion freedivers, they might be down under the water 3 minutes or something, and they go down 100 meters, which is just remarkable. But they're training all year round to get to that level, to be able to do that in that moment on command. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be training your mind and body back into a relaxed state. And here's the other thing: don't judge the level of relaxation. You just got to find relaxation somewhere. Once you get a handle on it, you can always escalate your privileges into relaxing more and more. So I'm just going to start playing some music now. We're going to get into just a very basic meditation. The whole thing is just to relax. If you can lose yourself and drift off, be my guest, do it. But what I'm going to be doing is just giving you little directions to keep leaning back into relaxation, moving past the triggers, moving past the thoughts, moving past the feelings. I'm going to do a little exercise to scan the body, relieve a bit more tension, a little bit more pressure, and equalize inside the body. And then I'm going to let you go for a while. And then in that space of letting you go, I want you to just notice if and when you pop out of relaxation, what it is, what was the thought, what was the feeling, and then start to get yourself a little bit of a list of what it is that's pulling you out. So when we, in between your meditations, you can start to maybe tweak things and adjust things and do the work of moving those things out of the way and clearing those things in your life. And the benefits of this, are amazing. They're massive. So one is the more relaxed you are, the better the autonomic nervous system kicks in, the immune system becomes stronger. So you just naturally become healthier. You've got more energy. You're clearer in the mind. You feel more. Um, and this opens you up to a whole new world of possibilities too. So you're going to be able to tune into all sorts of new potentials that you weren't able to before because you were being interrupted by whatever it is that stopped you relaxing into those spaces. And so, although this is an active process of relaxing, and it takes effort to focus the mind to relax into it, it's not something you can use aggression or force, or you can't wrestle yourself into relaxation. You can't rush it. Okay, that's the other thing. If you find that you're if you can catch yourself forcing yourself to relax, then just relax and not do that, and see if you can just slip into that relaxed state instead. All right, so here we go. Make sure you guys have your notepads close by, um, and if you've got blindfolds, put them on. Don't worry about following the meditation or staying in it. If things are popping you out and they're distracting you and you can't slip back in, come out, write down, just make a note of what it is. Once you've made your note, blindfolds back on, come back in. All right, and just do your best. That's all I ask. All right, here we go. Okay, get comfortable. Settle your body down. Blindfolds on if you've got them. If you haven't, just sit back, relax. Take a deep breath in and close your eyes. And just begin to relax and breathe. And with each and every breath, just bring your awareness towards relaxing just that little bit more. And while you continue to relax your breathing, notice that the more you relax, the better you breathe. And the better you breathe, the more you can relax. Tune into your body now. Feel your body. Can you become aware of the flow of energy through your body? Just allow it to be. See your body in a bright blue light. See the blueprint of your body in 3 dimensions. See that electric blue energy moving through your body. And in a moment, when I tell you, I want you to become aware of any tension that lies inside your body. I want you to give it a color. Green being fine, yellow being in between, and red being tense. Scan your body now and notice the places of tension inside your body, from green to yellow to red, and bring your attention back to the other parts of your blueprint body. And allow them to be that beautiful, bright, brilliant, electric blue. Pay attention to your body now. And as you breathe and relax, can you notice that the color green can begin to move and change to the color blue? And that the color yellow can begin to move and change to the color green. And the color red can begin to change and move to the color yellow. Just breathe and relax. And allow the energy to move in its own time, in its own way. In a calm and relaxed manner. In an easy, effortless way. Just breathe. I'm going to let you go now for a little while. And every now and then, I'm going to check in on you. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, same or changing. And what I want you to do is to check in on those areas of different color and just take note of whether they're still the same or whether they're changing. So off you go now. Breathe and relax. And dive deeply, safely as you can into a state of deep relaxation. Same or changing. Same or changing? Just lean in and relax even more. Feel how relaxed you can feel. Let go and release the tension inside your body, inside your mind. Move beyond any thoughts or emotions that are between you and your relaxation. Be relaxed now. And allow any tension to simply dissolve or melt away. Same or changing? How relaxed can you become? Lean in beyond the edge. relaxing even more. Same or changing. Wouldn't it be great that now that you've become aware of all those things that you think are holding you back from going that little bit further into a deeper state of relaxation? Wouldn't it be great if you could change the value of those things into those things that trigger you into relaxation even more? All those distracting thoughts, all those distracting feelings, all those distracting sounds can actually be indicators and anchors to tell you to completely relax into every cell of your body, commanding you to relax even more. Can you let yourself free fall into relaxation? And allow something greater to catch you. into the new frequency. Float in it. Relax your muscles. Relax your mind. Relax your energy. Breathing. Blending. Dissolving. Melting. Expanding. Into a relaxed awareness. Same or changing. Same or changing? changing. Slowly now, gently now, begin to come back. Come back to your body. Come back to your mind. Come back to this place. Come back to this space. Come back to this time. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Bring your attention all the way back to now, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay, how does everyone feel? How did you go? Let me know when you're back. Take your time. Come on, guys, give me some feedback. Send me a chat. Tell me how you went. Yeah, I love it. So, my biggest distraction, noticing how hyper aware I am that I'm doing this, watching everything that we're doing so that I'm not in the doing. It's like I'm wearing a white lab coat. I'm a white lab coated scientist watching myself do meditation. Well, it's it's like you're aware that you're aware now. Yeah, try to relax through that. It's good to know where your sticking points are, though. Um, Sometimes it's just as simple as setting it aside. Um, mm, Interesting. Mm. Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues that prevent us from relaxing is that expectation of and that judgment of, are we doing it right? And I think one of the biggest barriers to that is time. And if you're, you know, doubling down and you're all in on every meditation, on this meditation, and it's not going your way, then of course you're going to start to have all these things come up, and you're going to start assessing it and judging it and telling yourself, am I doing it right? Is it, and blah, blah, blah. But, if you don't put a timeline on anything and you just say, well, I'm just going to do this for the sake of seeing what happens, then, when stuff like this comes up for you and you become aware of that, then that's the value of the meditation. It's not the thing that's stopping you from getting to the value. It's the value itself showing up. Um, when you're diagnosing an issue or something that's preventing you from slipping into that higher frequency of health and relaxation and awareness and all that, the hardest part is identifying it. So if you can identify that, and the meditation is showing you, it's saying this is what it is. That's the thing that's holding you back. You see is when you become aware of that and you place your attention on it. Now, when it comes up, you don't just naturally slip into it. You're going to see it for what it is, and you can now choose. Oh, okay, well, I've done that now. I did that in the last meditation. I played that story out. I was, hyper aware and watching every thought and feeling, and that was popping me out of that feeling of relaxation. So next time when it comes up, you can go, oh, okay, I know what that is. I'm just going to relax through that. I'm going to let it be there, and I'm just going to sort of see it for what it is, this mirage, this smoke and mirror in front of me, and I'm just going to walk through it and let it dissipate around me and see what's beyond that. And so, like we've heard before, there's no bad meditations, because, it's a bit like, if you're doing, if you're going on, you're having some kind of psychedelic trip, like, you're not gonna, who are you to say what's of value and what isn't? Sometimes becoming aware of that thing that's been eluding you, that elusively obvious thing that's been hiding in the background, and determining how you think and feel and how you act in your life, and therefore what reality you can collapse. When you become aware of that programming, that might be the most valuable thing that could possibly have come up for you in any type of experience, in this case, a meditation. And so once you become aware of that programming, you can, one, choose not to participate in it anymore if that's what you want, or two, you can actually see its value, and just how helpful it can be in certain situations, and why you develop that programming. Maybe it's a protection mechanism. Maybe it's kept you safe all this time, and maybe in those situations it was useful, but maybe now that you've outgrown it, you can decide to change it. And when you do that, you can free up all that space in the mind to be used for something else. So, how did we find slipping in and out? Was it becoming easier? Did the colors change in the body? Do we feel different from when we sat down? I think part of why this practice is so important is to bring you back into that centered present moment now, and see what it is that you're invested in. Because the things that are stopping you from being present now is where all your energy's tied up. And I've mentioned this before in some of the things I've written into working with people years ago, is that when you start, becoming an economist on your energy, and you start to really take stock of where your energy's going and what it's doing and why. Some people do it slow, some people do it fast, but on average, I think, although transformation can take place instantly, the process of transitioning completely from one energetic frequency, mind, body to another, that I've seen, and that includes your environment as well, can take, around 4 years. That's kind of what you're in for. Little changes can take place like that, but we're talking about a complete transformation. Yeah, probably about 4 years, I'd say. Until you're entirely a new person, and energetically you're in a different signature and it's locked in. Oh, beautiful. I like this. So, my last experiment, I think, has potential. I'm usually afraid of pain. It's like a solid block. But that time, I imagine I was free diving into my pain. Yeah, beautiful. So, I mean, pain is one of those things that we naturally withdraw from and run away from. Um, and the problem with that is that although we can compartmentalize and we can shift it aside, um, that pain's not really going anywhere unless we address it. It doesn't have to just be physical pain, it can be emotional pain, it can be mental pain. Um, and, you know, sometimes we can get hit energetically, and that can stain our energetic signature as well. So, you know, all this stuff, um, if it's left unchecked, it doesn't get any better, it doesn't go away. In It actually just starts to, you know, grow. And because whether we're consciously aware of it or not, when we're feeling the pain or we're wincing or whatever, we're still putting energy into that. So it's really, I think it's valuable to lean into that pain gently. And it's like if you go to a stretch class, you know, you don't want to, and your aim is to do the splits, you don't want to, you know, get into that position and, and, you know, crap yourself in the middle of a split. You just want to sort of move in gently, get that body ready, and slowly over time, just like with free diving in certain depths, you know, it's not something you don't push, it's something you keep doing until your body's ready to let go. And then once it's let go, it'll let you into a new depth, into a new level of mobility. And then you can explore that area and get used, acclimatized to that as well. So, yeah, going into your pain. Um, and that was part of the exercise of giving the tension colors and allowing the color to be there, not trying to stop it from being there, but to allow it to be there, focus on it, and allow it to change, you know, from red to yellow, yellow to green, green to blue, and then back to neutral again. Nice. So 4 years is comforting to know because I've been in this for 3.5 years and I'm still feeling, I still feel I'm still at the starting gate because of this hyper awareness. Yeah, yeah, good point. So, like, you know, I've been in this for many years now, but each time you reach a new level, a new frequency, a new scale of awareness, it feels like you're back to the beginning because you sort of are, but you've got all that experience of the other levels previously or the other experiences before. And so, you know, it's a bit like in sport, you know, you start off in D grade and then you move to C grade and then B grade and then A grade. And, you know, it's the same game, so to speak, but it's played differently and different speeds and intensities and complexities. Yeah, and that hyper awareness that takes a little adjusting, takes a little while to get used to that. I like to think of the the illustration for that for me is if you've seen Man of Steel, this the story of Superman, the first one. You see him growing up as a boy. I don't mean the original Supermans. I mean the most recent ones. Um, with what's his name, Cahill is the actor. Anyway, you see young Kal-El in school, and he's like freaking out. It's like someone's poured a liter of acid into his brain, and he's, you know, he's seeing all the light frequencies all at once. He's x-raying his teacher and seeing her heart beating inside her chest, and he's hearing everybody's thoughts, and he's, you know, hearing the dog whistle 7 blocks away, and he's just being overloaded with stimulation, and he's just not knowing how to make sense of any of it. So he runs into the to the um, to the janitor's closet and locks the door behind him just to get some space, and of course his mother has to come and calm him down, and she sort of takes him through a relaxation process so he can come out of there. And I think it's a beautiful scene, because what we see a lot in self-help now is people are trying to move to that hyper awareness state, and they're trying to access it all the time. But when you get there, it's not what you think. It takes a bit of training to get used to that. And in terms of the Man of Steel, it took him a lifetime to hone all that energy and to harness it and bridle it and be able to wield it. And so what I'm noticing is that more, instead of, I would say, people that I'm attracting more of an advanced level in terms of they're naturally predisposed to these heightened states of awareness, and it's more like they've they've always been like this. It's their natural state, and over time, being able to relate to other people and to be accepted by society and to not to be attacked by the mob, we've dumbed it down and we've shrunk it and we've compressed it and we've hidden it. And now that we're getting to this stage, where maybe as an individual we're stronger, we're more comfortable with who we are, and also we're seeing in society now people are waking up left, right, and center. It's just like dominoes all over the place, all over the world, in every culture, age group, and gender, and it's a really good thing. But now, as we're starting to let those veils slip away, and we're starting to allow these things um, to come to the forefront, now it's about tuning them in, and relaxation is a big part of that, because like when you tap into these higher frequencies and these massive amplitudes of energy start coming through the brain, you become hyper aware of all these things. It can be confronting, it can be frightening, and so the natural reaction, because we've trained that way, is to contract. But here we want to expand out and relax into it and allow it to unfold, and to settle it down, and to acclimatize to that new state of being. Okay, so I see my hyper awareness as protection. It's actually keeping me more in the world of survival, not hyper awareness of higher frequencies. Do you have any tips? Okay, yeah, really good question. So when the first part of that sentence, hyper awareness is protection. So this, I would call this hypervigilance. So you're focusing externally all the time and seeing where the threats are coming from, and you're trying to manage and anticipate and strategize to make sure that you're not going to be attacked or something like that. Okay, I'm just generalizing here. And so um, one of the things, apart from maybe giving yourself time and space and putting yourself into a safe place where you can allow yourself to turn that off, that's one thing. But more long term, because you can't always put yourself into the janitor's closet and hide there. You want to be out in the world. So I think it's really important to, when you're in meditation, is to allow yourself to go into those places that gives rise to that hyper vigilance, hyper awareness. In other words, why is it that you feel the need to defend yourself, what is it that you're defending? What is it you're protecting? Okay. If you can identify that, then maybe there's a way you can start to change um, the cause and effect of that kind of behavior. Just remember, it's just a behavior. So one of the things that we used to do in martial arts, which is really valuable, um, and I didn't learn this until way later into it. It was almost like I was at the finishing end of putting the details on my particular style of martial arts, because I did several different styles. One of the things that wasn't addressed for a good 10 years, maybe longer, was what to do when you're hit. Like, no one really trains on how to deal with the emotional impact of a strike or the pain of a strike. They teach you how to block, they teach you how to hit, they teach you how to grapple, they teach you how to be fit and all that sort of stuff. But no one actually teaches you how to deal with it when you've been hit. And inevitably, no matter how good you are, you're going to get hit, even by people, obviously by people who are more skilled than you, but also by people who, beginners who don't know what they're doing and just throw an arm at you and whack you perfectly square in the nose. It happens, right? So I moved over to a style called Sistema, which was a Russian martial art. And for the most part of that training, we would do breath work and strike absorption. And so what would happen is we'd be in a drill where one person would be striking the other person nice and gently to begin with. And the person would just psychologically and emotionally become relaxed with that certain strike at that depth and that intensity. And then once we got better at that, then the strikes would become more intense, deeper, and more impactful. And then what you would do is you would train that relaxation into more and more areas of stress. So you can become really relaxed in stressful situations and what most people consider dangerous situations. And we would train this all the way up to levels of, training against knife attack and gun disarming and multiple opponents and all that sort of stuff. And so the idea is not so much to win in the sparring or the drills, but is to maintain that level of relaxation. And when you're in a group of people who are all respectful of each other's levels and are training in a way that's the aim is for people to advance together, then and I was very lucky to have good partners to train with, where they would notice when I was going into stress, when I was going into hypervigilance, fight, flight, freeze, and they would naturally back the levels off to a point where I would become more comfortable. And then we just work there at that level, and we just get that locked in until that was just my new norm. And then I'd go, okay, I think I'm ready for a little bit more. And then we train at that level, and then we get that locked in, and then a little bit more and a little bit more. And then if it was too much, we'd come back, And some days you're going to be right into it. You're going to be in the flow, you're going to be flowing, it's all going to be wonderful, and you're going to gain a lot of ground. And other days, you're just going to spend the whole session just trying to get any type of edge of realization you can. And that's just par for the course. I don't care how good you are, how long you've been doing this. You're going to have your good days, you're going to have your not so good days. But if you keep at that process, and you keep tweaking wherever you can find those, whenever those things come up for you, whenever those triggers come up, you can actually work with them and work with the pain and unhook them and dissolve them or get some kind of mobility in there. If you can start to use that area instead of avoiding it and working around it, then over time you're going to have so much progress. It's not going to feel like you're progressing as you're doing it, but when you look back over those 4 years, you're going to go, wow, come a long way. And here's the other thing I just wanted to mention, is that you said 3.5 years you've been in this. Well, what I found is in that last 6 months or the last 3 months or the last month, you'll have a breakthrough somewhere along in that last moment where it feels like nothing's working and you're just waiting for that tipping point to happen, and you just keep grinding, keep doing it, at your own pace, in your own way. You don't have to go hard, you just have to keep showing up. And then eventually, just like in freediving, a friend of mine who couldn't equalize to get below 5 meters just kept going down to as far as he could, kept practicing, and then one day, this is over a week, finally we were watching him down there equalize, and you could see the bubbles come out of his ears. He was like, yes. And so after that, it was just like straight down, straight up, no problem, because the body, the mind had adjusted to that new frequency. And so you just got to give yourself, that time. Be kind to yourself. Don't whip the body and mind into doing it. Remember, you're training it. You wouldn't train a puppy like that. You'd be really nice to it, and you'd give it lots of positive reinforcement. And when it did something wrong, you'd do your best to not react to it and all that sort of stuff. So I hope that makes sense. And if there's no more questions, we'll wrap up there, because we're just don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you being here and tuning in. If there's no more questions, we'll wrap up there. Be sure to get on to the next training session. And also, I'm opening up open sessions, Q&A on Sundays. So they'll be on the website if they're not already, and you'll see them on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, get on Energetic Arts, the Facebook page, and join our closed community group as well. Yeah, I think that's it for today. With the Q&A sessions, I'm happy to address questions that come up. Please take your time to construct them. Awesome. Please take your time to construct the questions, and I'll call them worthy questions. And I don't mean that some questions aren't worthy. I mean that these are questions that you've got no idea how to answer yourself. You've done some research and you still haven't found the answers, and you've practiced, trying to solve them yourself, and you still are stuck, right? These are questions that I really like to address. If you already know the answer to the question, then you don't need to ask me about it. And this is all about tuning you back into you, so you can tap into that infinite intelligence that's within you. So thanks for coming, everyone. I really appreciate you turning up. I don't know what time it is where in the world you are or what time it is, but I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you in the next session. Bye for now.